Hello everyone, welcome to a new video from SL the Coffee Addict. The reason you're hearing my voiceover is because I couldn't figure out how to make the music work.
Alright, in case you can hear a loud rumbling, that's the dryer in the background. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. My family's going back to New York tomorrow, and we're doing our laundry, so that our car doesn't stink, I guess. I've been on vacation for a while, in New Hampshire. New Hampshire's really great. We have this lake house, and there's just this really nice, spacious lake. It's really fun to go kayaking in. But the best part about this trip has been the Barnes & Noble splurge, which I know is a bit weird because you can go to Barnes & Noble in pretty much any state. Barnes & Noble is nationwide, right? Good. Yeah, my ignorance is, quite astounding. But I had a Barnes & Noble splurge, and that made me inspired to do a video about all the books I have read so far on this vacation. We're leaving tomorrow, so it's as good a time as any to do a book reading update. I'm SL the Coffee Addict, your least favorite and least frequent YouTuber. I have really bad content, but hopefully you will enjoy it enough to give it a thumbs up. I hate this video already. I was actually doing a video earlier, but when I was editing it, I have this really poor editor, and it just doesn't work. And then I tried to upload it, but there wasn't enough room, and then I deleted everything. It just didn't work. There was just so many problems. Bad editing, bad video quality equals no content at all. So I'm just going to try to breeze through this and tell you what I've enjoyed about reading so far at camp. I hate myself. Did I forget anything? I don't know. Oh, yes. Okay, the first book that I read, I actually forgot to bring downstairs. First book I'd like to talk about is All In, the third book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Pretty sure that's her name. Basically, The Naturals is a series about young adults who are brought into an FBI program because they have special gifts that can help them solve cases that the FBI can't. This is the third book, and this one involves more gore, more blood, more mess, and a lot more webs connecting all of these murders together, including one from several years ago that the main character might have issues with. I hope that doesn't spoil anything. I'll probably put spoilers in the title because, you know, I'm really conscious about that. It was not the best book ever, but I bought the book because I knew it would be entertaining to read while we drove up to New Hampshire, and I enjoyed myself. Definitely not the best read ever, and there were a lot of bridges you had to cross over. You know, just like, so that you're connected to this person, and this person's connected to that person, and this cold case is connected to the case we're working on right now, which is connected to this killer, who's connected to those killers, who's connected to those two people, and yeah, I'll buy that. That makes sense. But I mean, it was a pretty interesting, good read, you know, engaging enough when you're driving for several hours, you know. So, like, you know, good read, not the best, and definitely a trigger warning for blood. And cults. I can't stress enough how much cults scare me, guys. Alright, for the books that we do actually have in person, I have How He Became Wicked by Alexander Yates. This is set in a future where locusts have come and infected people with a virus which makes them very violent and apt to do crimes, kind of like The Purge. Yeah. This book was creepy, you know, really, for some reason it reminded me of The Wicker Man. I hate The Wicker Man, but if you're a fan of The Wicker Man and want a more toned down version of that, this is a good choice for you. It has two separate storylines which connect in the end in a way you don't really see coming. I actually did see it coming because I accidentally spoiled it for myself. It was pretty upsetting, and I really wish I hadn't spoiled it for myself because this book would have been a lot better if I hadn't known what was coming. This was a very solid read. A little bit of inappropriate material. More than kissing? Alexander! Hugging in this day and age. Hugging! Next up we have Contagion by Terry Terry. This is a similar concept. There's a virus that's sweeping across Scotland. People are falling. Only 5% of people are immune. And the even smaller percent of people who can actually survive having the disease. The people who survive come up different. Kind of like the Darkest Minds, you know, they've got powers that they don't know how to control. That might sound really interesting, but it takes the book about half the length to actually get to the point where the virus starts spreading. Yeah, it's an insta-love novel, so we've got unrealistic character development. Round it up for unrealistic character development. Yay! I'm Terry. You obviously write better than me because I've never published a novel, so I'm not saying you did a bad job. It just really wasn't for me. It's super long. Everything in this book just feels random. Like, it's not part of an ongoing story as much as a series of random events that just happen to run into each other. I will definitely be checking out the second book in this Dark Matter trilogy, but it's no Alex Rider. That's all I'm saying. Although Alex Rider at the moment isn't Alex Rider either, so what am I saying? Okay, next up we have Voices, The Final Hours of Joan of Arc. Yep, that's right. By David Eliot. This is a book composed of poems that are about Joan of Arc's life and the last hours of her life. 10 people killed in the Bronx. Yeah, so this one was not necessarily the best book I've ever read, but it was pretty entertaining. I know it's fun to make fun of people who write in poetry, like oh, that's easy, we can all do that. Look at that, that's so silly. I mean, there's even a section where it's not even poetry, and it's just a page after page of, like, them screaming stuff. But at the same time, I dare you to write a book like this, because let's face it, even though we can make fun of poetry and how little effort seems to go into it, I don't think we can actually write good poetry. So, good job, David Eliot. I already forgot your name. Good job, David Eliot. Interesting novel. Poetry was okay. It didn't have to be in poetry, but, it's a nice touch, I guess. Now let's move on to graphic novels, or comic collections, or whatever you call them. I don't know anymore. We have Scooby Apocalypse, which was pretty good. It's a retelling of the Mystery Gang. It's set in the future, and there's a virus. There's a lot of viruses in the future. There's a virus that's turning people into monsters, and they have to solve the mystery of what's going on. It's super amazing because, all these characters are being shown in a new light with guns and more developed backstories, and, they all have edgy issues. But at times, you will still find them doing their famous, you'll find panels like this, where they do their signature catchphrase. I'm sorry, my impressions are so bad. I just couldn't let you do this. Awesome, a pretty entertaining rewrite. The characters weren't that good, though, I have to say. They all struggle with stuff, but sometimes the struggles would be just juggled around. Like, one time Fred would be worrying about killing people, then another time Shaggy would be worried about killing people. Daphne couldn't make up her mind about how she feels about Velma and her responsibility in the virus, and I don't know, the characters just weren't the strongest part, which is bad for a novel of any kind. Okay, we have Deadpool versus Old Man Logan, surprisingly low on inappropriate jokes on Deadpool's part. Thank you, Deadpool. This was pretty good. Not gonna lie, the plot is a little thin. They try to do this thing where, do we save this person or do we kill this person because they're too powerful? When in reality, the person in question isn't exactly Jean Grey. It's like, you really pulled that out of somewhere, didn't you? I don't know, it just wasn't that convincing. They tried to make us feel like there was a conflict when there really shouldn't have been. And honestly, the person in question's power, this dangerous power that they shouldn't, it wasn't that bad. Like, this person might have accidentally killed one person with their absolutely dangerous powers. Wow. Killing in the Marvel Universe, especially on Old Man Logan and Deadpool's part. Whew. Alright, finally we have Vader Down, which is a comic book. Obviously, because it's super thin and it's got comics in it. This entertaining Marvel Star Wars is the best part of Star Wars right now. Don't at me. It's hands down the best. We've got super engaging visuals. That's awesome. That's Darth Vader and Princess Leia. That's amazing. We got a cast of characters: Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, these droids whose names I completely forget. They're assassin, torture droids. This was a pretty solid read. You know, a pretty solid step in the mythos of Star Wars. Better than The Last Jedi. Again, don't at me. All in all, I have to say, my Barnes & Noble splurge and books from the not-so Barnes & Noble splurge were pretty entertaining. Out of all these books, I can honestly say that I didn't hate any of them. If I hated them, I probably wouldn't have finished them. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel because, you know, low frequency and low quality, I mean, what's not to love about this channel?
Okay, for some weird reason I start singing here, and like with my voice impressions, it's unbearable to listen to. I have no idea what's wrong with me. I'm sorry, guys. Oy vey. Look at that guy go. Ugh.
I'm gonna pretend that didn't hurt.